Hello humans, NAM mischief makers and skateboard recyclists, and welcome to the Cosmic Tortoise podcast. In this episode, we're back with my good friend Emily C. Browning. Emily shares how life has been since she blew up on Instagram, her visits to the US and the adventures she had over there, and she performs a couple of brand spanking new tunes.
Is this your, what's it called? Gunshot coffee?
Well, it's not. It's called, they call it like bulletproof coffee.
Bulletproof coffee.
But it's not really bulletproof coffee. It's just...
It's yummy. Yeah, it's really coconutty.
Yeah. Nom, 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 nom.
Mm.
There's a bit more there if you want it.
Cool.
What's up?
What's up? What a question. Where do I start? Life.
When did we last talk? We last talked to like...
It was before I first went to the USA.
Yes,
so that was before August of last year.
And it was before May, right? Because it was before I left.
Yeah, I guess so.
Back to Germany. So it was nearly a year ago.
Yeah, a year ago.
It was only recently, like after you had had this explosion of Instagram people and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I think at that point you were getting ready to go to America. You were planning your tour.
Planning my tour.
We talked about like where you were going, the cities you were going into and stuff.
Yes. And the things I've done since then. The things we've all done. Everyone in the world has done since a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So I reckon we should pick up where you left off there.
Okay.
We'll talk about America.
So I did a little tour of New York. I started in New York, did 2 shows there, and I did Nashville and I did Los Angeles. And then I came home, and, well, I don't know if you want me to dive into this as a musical podcast, but I sort of fell in love.
Oh, who cares, man? Let's talk about everything.
Let's talk about that. Yeah. Let's get a little personal.
Yeah, go on.
So, while I was doing my little tour of America, I met a boy, specifically a musician. Surprise, surprise. And since then, he's come back to New Zealand and I've gone back to the US. So I spent the whole of January in the US going, and we went from New York, we went to Boston, and we drove around Massachusetts because that's where his family's from. And then we flew back to Los Angeles and spent a wee while there. We also went to the NAM show, which is the biggest... The biggest, what do you call it? Like
it's like a music expo, right?
Yeah, it's a trade show.
Music gear stuff.
Yeah, so all the big music companies go every year to basically showcase their new products or just anything that they have, or lots of guitar luthiers too. Is that how you say it?
Luthiers, yeah.
Luthiers. Yeah, lots of those. There are lots of really beautiful handmade guitars.
Did you have a jam on top?
Yeah, I did, but it's almost too scary. Like, you pick it up and it's like, I'm going to put it down before I break it. And also oh my goodness, the thing that was most overwhelming about NAMM was the fact that you walk in and it's just this wall of noise. So it's basically a 3-story convention center.
Yeah.
And you walk into the first story is just like thousands of stalls jammed up next to each other. The second and third levels are a little different. They're kind of the bigger companies like Fender or D'Angelico, who have their own space to have their own room to themselves, where you can go and browse 1,000 Fender Strats or whatever. But on the bottom level, it's just like the smaller companies all jammed in the one room.
Oh, man.
And it's just a wall of noise.
Yeah.
And there are NAM police, that's what they call them, NAM police walking around with decibel readers. And they shut people down if they're too loud and if they get too many warnings. The second or third day, because it's a full weekend event, second day that we went, we started seeing stalls that had been closed down, and they left them as empty slots to like advertise the fact that this is what happens if you're too loud for too long.
You're too naughty at NAMM.
You're naughty. Indeed.
Cool. Did you see, like, they showcase a lot of the new music technology stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see any crazy stuff?
Flip. It's been a little bit since I got back, and I think I've kind of decompressed. Yeah, I probably have like consciously deleted a lot of information that I received at NAMM because it's just so full on.
Yeah.
A lot of guitar companies that I already knew existed. Like I really like Prisma guitars because they have they make skateboards into guitars. So they collect old skateboard that might be broken or unusable for some reason, and they bind them together with glue and press them and cut out different shapes for guitars and like wire them with all the right electronics and whatnot.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Obviously only electric guitars.
I'm actually not sure. Probably yes, because the nature of the wood.
It'd be tricky.
It'd be real tricky to make it acoustic out of.
That'd be cool though. What are they called?
They're called Prisma.
Prisma.
Yeah, if you look them up online, they're really pretty because it's just straps because of all just the different skateboards.
Like that.
Yeah, like like Ryan's sunglasses.
Yeah, I got some sunglasses there. Did you ever jam on some there?
I did. They're too heavy for me. I think the necks are too thick, and I like really nice thin necks because I've got dainty little fingers.
Yeah.
Some people really like that really heavy feel though, so they can like shred or whatever.
So you're just more attracted to the aesthetics of the
I just like the look and the story behind it. It's like a bunch of kind of like surfy looking dudes who just like really believed in something and they just went and did it. I really like that.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're recycling wood rather than chopping new trees down. It's like
there's like some crazy. I haven't really looked into it too much, but a while back when I looked into it, there's some crazy stuff with really rare exotic woods that guitar companies are using to make guitars with.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it's not going to toilet paper or something. It's kind of cool, like a guitar will last for, if it's a good guitar, lasts forever, basically.
Yes.
So like, that's the good side, but it still sucks.
It's still a business and they're going to mass produce it. So it's like a lot. Yeah, a lot of woods are going extinct now, which is really sad.
Fucking guitarists.
I know. Every man and his dog wants to buy a new acoustic.
Yeah. So NAMM. What else did you get to? The most recent trip.
Just hung out with a lot of really cool musicians because the great thing about NAMM is, and a lot of people say this, is that it's not actually about the show itself. It's about the things and the events that happen around the NAMM time. So it attracts a lot of big artists and and also really small artists who are just really great musicians who aren't really known yet. And it kind of pulls them into the same city, and so the gigs and the events that happen around that are always just a really good time. And that was my first experience of that, so it was like a nice little community thing. Yeah. A thing that happened while we were there is were the pickup shows. So for those of you listening who do not know, a friend of ours, his name is Sam Blakelock. He curates an Instagram page called Pickup, which has upwards of, I think, like 300,000 to 400,000 followers. And so lately he's been starting up these pickup shows where he starts to bring together the musicians that he features on his account to set up a bill to play a gig. And it's always at house shows, so it's a really exclusive event. And I think that's how he wants it to be, because he wants to create like a vibe around it. He doesn't want it to just be a show that people go, oh yeah, I could kind of go and I've got the ticket, but I've kind of I just want to go to bed. It's like, it's really exclusive. It's invite only, and some people you can win invites, and like people do little competitions around it. So it creates a vibe. So it's finding that balance of being like, and I'm very aware of this, like the whole pickup thing can be a little bit of a club, so it's like in a really exclusive club, and it can be like kind of cliquey. Yeah. And I understand that a lot of people are really trying to get their foot in the door and get to know Sam and everyone. It's like, I feel kind of bad that it's quite exclusive, but I think it will grow and it will be much more open to the public the bigger it gets. So
Yeah.
the more popularity it creates, the more inclusive it will be in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was really fun. They hosted 2 shows in Los Angeles just right before NAMM, I think. Yeah, it's before NAMM. And I got to play.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I got to do my own set in one of the shows, and in the other show I was kind of a guest as for 1 or 2 songs for other people's sets, so that was really fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is it like the format, there's a similar kind of format that they use all around the world in this company called So Far Sounds. I did a bunch of the gigs like that.
Oh, yeah?
Except I guess on pickup you'd know who the artists were, right? It's not like a secret show.
How do you mean?
Like the guests or like the people that are invited would know who they're going to go see.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So how does it work with So Far?
So far is quite cool. Like we're thinking, Mark Turney and me are thinking of doing a similar, not necessarily So Far Sounds, but something similar here in Christchurch. Turney's coffee. We're actually drinking a bit of his.
Are we?
A little bit of Turney's coffee is blended in this.
Oh, thank you, Jenny.
Yeah, thanks, Turney. So the idea is you have So Far Sounds is kind of like a community for passionate music lovers. Mm-hmm. And they all sign up to the mailing list in whatever city that they live in the world. It's in like 200 cities around the world or something.
Right. I've seen the YouTube clips.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know how it works. So you sign up to a mailing list.
So like if you're a fan, music fan or whatever, you sign up and then they'll say, it's once a month usually, and they'll say, okay, there's a show this date, but you don't know the venue until the day.
Oh.
And so it's like secret, you don't know who's playing. So you just go along and you expect that, depending on the city, but you expect the quality to be high because it's So Far Sounds or whatever. And then you go along and then there's just 3 acts, usually only 3 songs each, and you've never heard of them usually.
Wow.
And then there might be like 40 people in a like apartment, or we did one in this like old converted church. We did one.
Wow.
We did heaps of random spaces all around Europe. I did quite a few of them, but it's cool. And it started out in London. And apparently in London, some of the So Far shows are like Ben Howard and stuff now. Because but no one will know. They rock up and just be Ben Howard.
True, right, okay. So was it their original plan to get lesser known artists out?
It started in London because I think this is the story. So in London, there's a group of friends that were just music fans and they wanted to... It was hard to throw shows in London apparently because often if you have a venue, I heard in England, you have to guarantee the venue the money that it would be worth for them having you there for the night, kind of a vibe. So there's almost like a contract you have to make £200-300 or whatever. So then you're really pressured to get people in, and it's just real gross. So I think they just started, we're like, well, fuck it, let's just do one in our apartment, like living room concert. And then they do, the London one's insane. You should check it out. It's insane. They're doing shows every day and like crazy.
Sick.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a big tangent. So your one, they know who it is. And how many people are at the shows and pick up?
Depends on the size of the house. So someone will offer up their space and then they'll say, I can only fit 50 people in my living room. So I guess that's it, including the artists and the crew, because there's a few photographers that are walking around and obviously sound people who are organising it. So there's a big team of people who actually put it together. And Sam Blakelock just kind of pulls it all together and makes it happen. So it's usually between, like, depending on the size, like between 40 people and maybe 150 at most.
Cool. Yeah. So that's similar with this one. And Samade, and are they super focused on the music? So it's like real concert vibe.
Oh yeah, and everyone's so vibey. Like everyone's real excited to be there. Like I think that's why he keeps it exclusive, because like it really means something if you're actually going to be there, because you know it's going to be good.
Yeah, and it keeps the quality high, which is
for sure.
It's important. Like
100%.
Yeah. Cool. So how was that show?
It was really good. It turned out to be like a big jam session at the end, as you would expect, because so many musicians are there, and like people would kind of, I mean, it's kind of sneaky to rock up to a gig with your horn, but like if someone happens to bring their saxophone, you can just kind of pull it out at the right moment. So that kind of happened. One of the Wolfpack members, Corey Wong, was there. Cool. So he did his own impromptu set, and he did a lot of funk and really crazy stuff, and everyone got in on it, and yeah, it's great.
Super cool. So that was in New York or LA?
That was in Los Angeles.
That was in LA.
Yeah.
Cool. How's LA?
It's a different world, man. Man, I mean, because the guy that I'm seeing, he's from Los Angeles, and we kind of talk about this a lot, how New Zealand culture is so much different to American culture.
Yeah.
Like, we're so reserved comparatively. But I think the trade-off for that is like we often talk about customer service and the differences between American customer service and New Zealand customer service. And the fact that they have a tipping system is obviously a really good incentive to have really high quality customer service. In New Zealand, people just kind of get paid well enough to not need tips.
Yeah.
So it's quite good that we're not like just like scraping for anything. But I mean, not that it's a terrible system. It's sort of arguably archaic though.
Yeah.
But in New Zealand, we talk about this. It's like if someone doesn't want to go out of their way for you, they're not going to. So it's not really that whole mentality of the customer is always right anymore. That kind of like went out the window for us, because it's like if you're going to be a brat, you're not going to get treated well by the people who are serving you. So
and that's kind of good though, right? Like if someone comes in there an asshole, and you can just be like, well, you can leave. We're not going to serve
exactly.
You.
But on the other end, it's sometimes you get the vibe that people aren't really making an effort to make you feel welcomed. For example, we went to this restaurant when we were in Queenstown, and we reserved a table online through maybe like a third-party reservation website. And we got a confirmation email, everything was sorted, and we got there and they were like, I'm sorry, we don't use that service anymore. And that was it. They were like, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. So it was like, well, that's not on us, that's on your company, and you're not being very particularly welcoming. And someone else came along and they said, oh, look, I'm pretty sure we might have a table free, so let me just check for you.
Yeah.
And that was when it was all good. It was like, but like just to have that person be like, no, that's it. It was just a little bit disheartening. And I feel like if you're working on a tip-based thing, you're not going to straight up do that. I mean, it's sort of like there are obviously fine lines between cultures, and you can't, like, who am I to judge what's right and wrong? It's just interesting.
Did you get on Yelp and write a big like rant on Yelp?
He did. I didn't. He did.
Actually did. Fair enough.
But on the other side of that, he's the type of person that if he had really great customer service, he's going to rave and make sure that person gets like a promotion or a pay rise or something, because he's going to rave about them. So.
Well, there's a way you can look at customer reviews and Yelp and stuff, and it's actually if you owned a business, like if I owned some sort of business, like a bar or something, and I was concerned about the objective quality of my bar and objectively like how much people enjoy the bar, how the service is and everything, and not emotionally invested in it, I'd want to get as many reviews as possible, negative or positive, and then use them and improve the place and then make it a better business and make more money. Like, so for people to give customer reviews is actually can be a really nice thing for the business if the business takes it the right way. If you're polite enough in the review and don't just write all caps, bad spelling, like. But if you say, look, the food was just genuinely didn't taste very good, and the vegetables were old, and like whatever it is, you could say that, and then they might go, okay, right, we could improve that.
We could reassess the menu, maybe.
Or they freak out and just, I don't know.
Yeah. Fire some people. Yes. So, yes, America, I think we went on a little bit of a tangent there, but America, LA is crazy. It's very much not what I'm used to, but I do think it's very wonderful because it's such a hub for musicians, and I think there are more jobs than there are musicians in the music world. Yeah, I mean, obviously you have to be in the right place at the right time to get your hands on the job. It's not as if they're looking for anyone. It's like if you're good, then at least I haven't lived there, so I don't know. I haven't struggled to get a job there as a musician. So I mean, this is only what I can gather from visiting there. But I get the feeling that there is just so many gigs happening every single night. that if you have a friend who's playing their original music and they ask you to be the drummer or something, and you might get paid for that, and that's just happening all the time.
Cool, yeah.
Or there are like touring musicians who need session guys to come in and either record for them or tour with them or whatever. So
if you're at session level, which is pretty high.
It's pretty high. I mean, I don't call myself a session musician at all, but if I wanted to spend my time booking up enough gigs to pay myself, then I think that I could do that.
That's
but
cool.
I'm not sure that I would do that, because as an artist, you don't want to be playing too much. You want to kind of keep it, keep each gig that you play, make it really special, rather than quality over quantity. So it's certainly a different dynamic, and it's something that I don't actually know anything about. I'm just giving you what my first impression.
That's what I want to hear. Yeah.
I mean, there might be some like LA people going like, "That's not how it is," but I'm so willing to go there. I'm trying to move there actually as soon as I can, but I'm so willing to go there and just experience that and maybe learn some things and trip over along the way.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. Do you want to play a song?
Yeah, sure.
You've got some new ones since the last time, right?
I have some new ones.
You've written some new tracks.
I've got a really rough one that I wrote very recently, and I haven't finished it yet. So I'm going to sing the first verse twice.
That's good. That's right. So, I could just cut all that bit out and then no one will know.
No one will know.
So you heard it first, the proto version. What's the song called? Does it have a name yet?
Yes, it's called Outgoing, and it's about not being particularly outgoing. I'm a total introvert, and I feel that the world is built on a system that thrives with extroverts on a business level and a career level. So a lot of business deals kind of happen when you're out till 2 a.m. and you've had a few drinks with important people. Anyway, I'm not trying to be negative at all. Just trying to have a voice for the introverts. That's all. All right. Is that loud enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do your best, go make some noise. The system's always on overload. Hoping somebody agrees it's not the only way to be. Seems like nobody is listening, so I yell and scream to make you all believe I'm outgoing, baby. Outgoing, baby. Come see about me, baby. The world don't wait for people like me. I'll keep moving, make believing, play pretending I'm outgoing. Come see about me, baby. The world don't wait for people like me. I'll keep moving, make believing, play pretending I'm outgoing. Go make some noise. System's always on overload. Hoping somebody agrees It's not the only way to be. Seems like nobody is listening, so I yell and scream to make you all believe. Outgoing, baby. Outgoing, baby. Come see about me, baby. The world don't wait for people like me. I'll keep moving, make believing, play pretending. I'll go in. Come see about me, baby, 'cause I don't stay out late. I need to breathe, try to be patient with me. Running empty, still I'm going. Come see about me, baby. The world don't wait for people like me. I'll keep moving, make believing, play pretending. I'm outgoing. Come see about me, baby, 'cause I don't stay out late. I need to breathe, try to be patient with me. Running empty, still I'm going.
All your songs are so good.
Oh, thank you.
I really like that one too.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Love the chorus.
Thoughts,
especially.
critiques? Because it's not finished, so there's room to...
Write a second verse.
Yeah, okay.
Come on, Emily. Come on.
Don't be
Sort
lazy.
it out. That's all it needs.
What's that?
That's all it needs.
That's all it needs. It's
Yep.
to be finished.
Yeah.
This coffee is very good.
It's, yeah. Supposedly the fat binds the medium chain triglycerides in the fat. The coconut oil
What?
bind with the caffeine and give you a more gradual rise and fall of the caffeine effect.
Oh, so you don't get a crazy spike
And then
go
a
down
jittery
and
crash.
Oh,
Apparently. It's, it tastes good. I don't know.
That's all it needs.
Yeah.
Tastes great.
So I think you're right about that extroversion thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's maybe getting even more amplified, right?
I guess so. How do you mean?
Well, to be successful, as you say, you kind of have to, especially as a musician, right? Unless you have all of the manager infrastructure and you know, marketing team and all that shit that the big guys have. Unless you have that, if you're doing it all yourself, like you are, you have to put yourself out there all the time, and you have to show who you are, and you have to be there, and otherwise, you know, no one's gonna look at a video of someone like, you know, like in the corner, like really, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. People say this a lot. You hear these words go around. When you're a musician these days, you can't just be a musician anymore.
maybe not, right?
You have to be like a multitude of. You have to wear different hats. You have to be. You have to wear a management hat and a business hat and a self-promotional hat and an extroversion hat to some degree and an online hat and then you have to find the time to actually work on your craft and do what you're doing for the reason that you did it in the first place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, like a good example of the old school thing, like Van Morrison, he's like a classic introvert, very serious.
Really?
Yeah, and you know, he I don't know how his career unfolded, but I don't imagine that it was him self-promoting himself all the time. You know? But it's interesting this play between, you know, like I wouldn't call you a hard-out introvert.
It's
You
definitely
just
a
don't like to go out
spectrum.
and party
No.
like every weekend, but
No.
you know.
Yeah, it's not
like
binary.
a daytime person. That's what
I'm
it
a
is.
daytime person. Oh no, I'm definitely a night owl, but I do that in the confines of my own room. I'm like
cave.
in my little cave. Yeah, I'm very creative at like past midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When do you do most of your writing?
It's very sporadic. I don't have a writing time. It just whenever I'm feeling the vibe, I will write. That could be at 10 a.m., but it could also be at like 3 a.m. So yeah.
So it's not always past midnight.
Not always.
Yeah.
No, not always. It's just something about the night. There's a song by Lewis Cole. It's called "Weird Part of the Night." You should listen to it. And the video clip is equally as great. It's very weird. And I feel I can relate to that.
Yeah. Where did that last song arise? Where did you write that? When did you write that?
It's a lot to do with how I feel about moving to Los Angeles. I feel like Los Angeles especially thrives on social etiquette.
Yeah.
And I think it might also kind of full circle come back to the differences between New Zealand culture and American culture. I think, like I said before, New Zealanders are more reserved. But I feel like in the entertainment industry in America, people kind of have to kick and scream to get to where they want to be, to get noticed, to actually stick out from the others, because there are millions that they're competing with. Whereas in New Zealand, there's still a few, but there's significantly less musicians that you're competing with for the spot. So I understand why they're certainly more vocal. But yeah. So I guess the song came from me mentally processing that I'm actually intending to live in that environment.
Yeah.
And I just want to find a niche for myself while I'm there. I don't want to get caught up in what I think that I should be. I think I want to still be really genuine and still be successful. I mean, that could be a pipe dream, but I'd like to try.
Smash it out. No, do it.
Just smash it out.
Just do it. And you said, I think I caught you you did that little jazz school show.
I did.
A wee while back. And I think you said that wasn't a song that just arose in one. You know how do you get some songs that arise in basically one session?
Yeah.
You sit down and you got a song, and then some of them it's over. That one was over a few weeks or something,
yeah,
right?
it took me weeks. I'm still not finished.
Yeah.
I still haven't written a freaking second verse, and the verse is already 2 lines long. Like, how hard can it be? But this is just one of those songs. It's just like it feels like I'm pulling teeth to get it finished, but it's going to be really worth it once it's fully formed. And then once I finish writing it, I'm going to have to actually arrange it and then practice it so I can perform it so that it's really watertight. And yeah.
It's so much work, eh?
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
I wish I was one of those people who was like, I was just like feeling the vibe and I wrote this in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like a fully formed thing that's like perfect.
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah.
But it's still very rewarding knowing that you worked so hard for something. If it turns out well, sometimes things don't turn out, and that's fine too. But
sometimes you have to let them go. Let them fade back into the ether.
Oh yeah.
Dissolve. Yeah, it's funny. I think we might have talked about this last time, but it's funny how songs can also change. Their meanings can kind of change for you as a songwriter over time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I've got a song I'm just about finished. This is the 4th or 5th recording of it. I think 5th.
That's tedious.
Maybe 6 with like live versions.
Wow.
And the lyrics have changed, several times.
Yeah.
And it's final form now. And I wrote it in Berlin like 3 years ago or 4 years ago.
Are you happy with it?
And now I'm finally happy with it.
Yay.
And I never was before, but it was getting re-recorded and like, it's just really funny. And it took me that whole time to, I wrote it in Berlin, but then I changed it to be about being in Berlin. And now it kind of makes sense. But
right.
Yeah.
Good.
Funny.
As you feel the rewarding effects of that.
Yeah, and it's like, especially when it's like that long, like you're like, have to keep hammering away at it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I've also actually been listening to a lot of podcasts about INFP. I don't know if you know about the Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
16 personality types. I am an INFP, which is introversion, intuition, feeling, and perceptive.
Yeah.
So I'm like a big ball of emotion. Like I'm so emotionally driven and very quiet and reserved. But there's so much going on in my brain. I just it's quite hard to communicate outwardly. And also I've realized that I'm what's called an HSP. Have you heard of those before?
A HISP.
A HISP.
What's a HISP, Emily?
Would you believe it? I'm a HISP. It's HSP stands for highly sensitive person.
Oh, yes.
There are like an emerging group of people who identify as HSPs, and that's really exciting because they all go, oh my gosh, you feel like that too. I feel like that. Oh my goodness, we can actually like connect on some level, and you understand why I'm like this. And then people go, yeah. So, yeah.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, so HSPs tend to find the world a little more overwhelming than other people because everything is really stimulating. Like, for example, I choose not to watch scary movies because it's too confronting for me. Like, it's just too much. I'm so sensitive that it just like, yeah. But it also means it can also be really positive because I can, I don't need to be stimulated all the time. I don't get really bored. Like, I feel like there's so much color and so much like just so many senses happening all at once that I feel like I'm kind of satisfied, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good.
And like I've known you for years and you've never really been drawn to like novel things or like substances or anything like that, and that's probably why, right? Because it's like the world's already full on and like colourful and vivid and stuff already. So.
I don't really want to take anything that's going to amplify that because I would just kind of freak out a little.
yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's been really nice to find people who I can identify with. So as I said, I've been listening to podcasts curated by people who identify as INFP or HSP, and they talk about their lives, and I go, oh my gosh, that's me. I get it. So yeah, it's just a really nice feeling to be able to relate to people.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Have you heard that podcast Invisibilia?
No.
That'd be right up your alley.
Right up my alley.
Yeah.
Cool. What is it about?
It's I think there's 2 female hosts, so it's kind of from a slightly female perspective, but that's cool. Like more, they're quite concerned with like inner feelings and emotions and things like this. But they explore kind of hidden forces that permeate our lives. For example, one of the episodes is on this woman that can feel her like level of empathy is so pronounced that she can literally feel what other people are doing without like touching them. So like people might hug each other and she feels it, or they might whatever it is, like she'll see a physical action happening with somebody else, or they might be sad, she'll feel genuinely really sad just because she sees them being sad.
Wow.
Or angry, she'll get really, like the world's really, really full on for her, and she ended up like having to live by herself.
I can imagine.
Kind of, and I think one of her daughters has the same kind of vibe, but like she really physically feels stuff that other people feel. So there's like, I think it's like an hour-long episode, and they talk to her and they dive into what it is and how it works. There's another one where they talk to this woman who literally had no fear of anyone or anything. Wow. And it got her into a lot of trouble because she'd just trust anybody.
Oh, of course.
And she was still sweet. Like I think they talked to her and she's still happy, and like, nothing. She also wouldn't get traumatized by things, but people would take advantage of her, obviously, because, it's obviously probably a genetic thing that wasn't selected for very much, because if you trusted everybody, you'd just die out. Your genes would die out, whatever. So, but yeah, stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting.
Right. So she's kind of an anomaly because, like, on an evolutionary perspective, you think that her kind would have died out a long time ago. Yeah.
I mean, unless there was some weird utopian tribe that lived somewhere and, nothing would, but oh, look, that's a snake, like, oh, hello. Like, it's not going to work too well, probably, Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting. That would be right up my alley. You're right. I would love to listen to that.
Yeah. It's by NPR, so...
NPR?
Yeah.
As in Tiny Desk NPR?
Yeah.
Is that a radio station?
It's like the American equivalent of Radio NZ. So that's why it's always high quality stuff. Everything they do pretty much is great. Right. They also do Radio Lab. They do heaps of different stuff.
Is it like talkback style?
It's a NPR. It's just I think it means National Public Radio or something.
Cool.
I don't know. And it's just, they just make great, quality content for
Things.
the American public.
Great.
State funded. Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously I'd heard of Tiny Desk, but I had no idea that NPR was like this.
Yeah, it's like the BBC of the States.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
learn things every day.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to sing another song?
Okay.
How many have you got? Ready?
I just got one more.
All right.
That's it.
Yeah, might as well.
Do it
Go on.
Skeet it over and done with.
What's this one?
Let me just.
Might get you to go a little bit closer to the mic
Mm-hmm.
for this one. Should be alright.
So this one, it's about being in love.
Oh.
But it definitely explores the long distance element of things, and I like the imagery of like hemispheres and like the galaxy and the universe and the elements and the ocean and big things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm not going to dive in any further. I'm just going to sing it.
Right.
Set your watch to follow mine. Call it exploration of distance and of time. And I'll be chasing afternoons in the cold of June. It's summer somewhere and I'll float over oceans chasing you. I'll be chasing you. I'll be chasing, trick my skin to feel your touch. Though it's something I hold, it's never quite enough. And I'll be chasing afternoons in the cold of June. 'Cause it's summer somewhere and I'll float over oceans chasing you. I'll be chasing you. And I'll be chasing you. I'll be chasing you. And I'll be chasing. Chasing afternoons in the cold of June. And I'll float over oceans chasing you.
Ooh, the ending. Ooh. That's what you want.
That's what you want. A
That's
little
what you
bit of
want.
drama.
We bit of falsetto-y breathiness at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Get everyone going, so vibey.
Exposing the weakness.
Yes, vulnerability. Do you want to dive in a little bit more about that song? Or was that an indication of not when you didn't want to before?
Oh, no, I mean, I'm certainly open to it.
Like the long distance thing's intense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Flip. And also, the time difference is hard.
Yeah, America's real annoying.
I know. I mean,
Europe's like dead 10 or 12 hours usually.
But that's worse, though, because it's like you'd have to wake up in the morning to catch the end of the evening, right?
Depends if you go to bed at like 2 in the morning like me.
Okay, right. So it's not a problem for you. I guess like in Los Angeles, it actually depends on the time of the year. So when we're in summer, it's only 3 hours apart, right? So they're 3 hours ahead, but a day behind. When it's winter for us, they're on their daylight savings and we're on our daylight savings. So add 2 hours to that's 5 hours. They're 5 hours ahead, but still a day behind. So that gets really annoying.
It's so confusing.
I've really gotten good at it.
You're gonna get it? Yeah.
Time
nice.
difference is actually like I feel like I've practiced it.
Yeah.
And like I could not get my head around it before, but now I've sort of been forced to, so I kind of get it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So the song dives into themes of time difference. There's a lyric, set your watch to follow mine. As in like when you're trying to keep up with someone, you have to keep checking your watch and like check the time difference. So and then it goes into say, call it exploration of distance and of time, because we're really exploring how to learn how to cope with that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's full on. And when are you planning to move over to LA? When are you trying to go?
I wanted to go as soon as I could, but it's really hard to get a visa.
Yeah.
So basically what I've done is I've applied for, New Zealanders are eligible to apply for a lottery visa, which is basically they draw you at random from a pool of applicants. But I don't find out until May if I've been accepted. And if I do get accepted, it's a green card, so it's really great, but I don't get to use it until 2019.
What an annoying thing.
I know, it's so annoying. And the application was in November last year.
Yeah.
So this is a whole freaking process. So if I don't get that, if that doesn't go through, I'm going to apply for an artist visa, like an O1, the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll get there one way or another.
One way or another, I'm sure it'll happen. It's just annoying in the meantime.
Yeah.
So it's just going to take a little bit longer than I expected. Yeah.
Oh, well, you can have it around for a bit longer.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I'm totally, I mean, I still love New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's just going to be hard in the wintertime when it's cold and dreary. All I want to be doing is in the sunshine in LA.
You just have to hide away in your cave and write songs.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
And mate, what did you do recently? Did you send me a picture of you did some like crazy stitching or something, and you made a crazy, like, what was that?
I'm just getting really into embroidery.
Embroidery, yeah, you did some embroidering.
Yeah.
What was that picture? What was the thing you made?
I don't know, I've made a lot of things.
That's
I've
really
made
cool.
an Instagram account of my embroidery.
No way.
Yeah.
What's your Instagram embroidery?
It's called em.b. What is it? em.c.broidery.
I'm going to check that out.
Okay.
I'll follow that. That'd be
Should
great.
make the name like maybe a little bit more user friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to do like embroidered merch?
Yes, I've had
such a cool idea.
I've had a good idea. I've got a vision and I want to make it happen. And then after I embroider it, I can print that design on t-shirts or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like scan it up somehow. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'll find a way.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what are your plans so you've got a whole set now, basically, of tunes. Like it's like an album's worth, right? Small
Kind of.
albums?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got various types of like recordings and stuff already.
Just demos and live
And
versions.
that random guy produced one for you.
Oh, yeah.
Did a collab thing.
Yeah, Tree Theatre.
Yeah.
He produced a song for me. In America.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
And so do you have any kind of, I think I've asked you this a few times, but do you have any kind of vision on how you want if you were to record some stuff and go full crazy production with it and stuff, do you have any idea in your head, do you have any vision in your head how you want it to sound?
I have a few visions and a few options and a few roads. What I might do is maybe just for the sake of releasing something is make an EP of really stripped back originals as they were written. And after I release that, I could still use the same songs to get them fully produced, or I might write new ones and want to move on. Regardless, I really want to explore the world of production and how that can really uplift songwriting and take things to a new level. But for the sake of releasing something, I think I would really like to have just a really honest, stripped back EP for people who like what I do.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily trying to make it sell out commercially, but for people who are really frustrated at the fact that I don't have anything on Spotify, and,
just something that they can listen to in the
in the meantime, give them what they deserve.
Would it be a live thing? Would it be a
I think
live
I
in the
might.
studio, or
I think I might take the time to do it. I have a friend who is actually quite handy dandy on the old production.
Handy dandy.
Yes, production notebook. He's kind of like a pop producer, but cool. I think he's actually got a knack for mixing and mastering as well. So if I just get him to record some basic stuff, he can make it shiny and clean and nice.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be nice, right? And that way you can would it just be you and your electric guitar essentially? I
guess so. I might take the kind of route where I do me and my electric guitar, but also use those two instruments to add a bunch of layers. Like, cool. I don't know if you've heard Napalm's new album called... The name of the album escapes me, but her whole thing is guitar and vocals, and she's just found really creative ways of making the layers sound like different instruments.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be really fun and creative as well in the studio, right?
Yeah.
That's a really fun part of recording, when you get in there with pedals and with different amps and different guitars and different things and mess around with them.
Just play with it.
Oh man, like that lap steel thing we had out at the sitting room.
Yeah.
There's this boutique little studio in Littleton, New Zealand. This little sleepy little port town. It's a little kind of folk studio. And we did some recording in there last year, and there's just people that don't know. There's a big lap steel thing. It's got like 13 strings or something weird. Man, it sounded amazing, that thing. Yeah. Yeah, if you can get into a studio that has all sorts of different toys, it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially the sitting room is particularly cozy.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Oh, that'd be cool. Okay, so that's vision number one, and that seems very doable and like very straightforward. But
my plans change every single day, so who knows whether that's...
Or your friends are like, damn it. Yeah. They're like getting hopeful, and they're like,
I'm just like non-committal. Completely like can't put my head down and finish something. So that's probably why you say you feel like you've asked me this before. You probably have, and I've probably given you a different answer every time.
Yeah.
So that's my current plan.
But if you were going to go full crazy on it,
if I were to go full crazy on it, maybe I would wait till I get to Los Angeles and shop producers there. Or I have a friend in Auckland who I'm kind of working with at the moment. I did a little session with him a couple of weeks ago, and we did some cool stuff. So maybe if I can fly up and down from Auckland and just kind of get creative in the studio, see what happens.
I mean, like, I'm interested in what you have floating around in your head for like this sound vision. If you have for like full crazy, if you know what kind of instruments you'd use, what kind of mixing it would be, like what kind of it would be, some maybe influences and vibes and things like that.
Okay,
if you have any of those ideas, I just find it really interesting.
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of different influences, and it's really hard because I swing around changing my mind a lot of what sound I would ideally have. I really like Kimbra. I like that she's super experimental, and I think her album The Golden Echo didn't do well commercially because people didn't get it. It was too much. It was too much information. It was like really experimental, and there were a lot of synths and a lot of layers, but I loved that. I thought it was really cool. Maybe it's because I'm a musician and I kind of get where she's going with it, but also something like Bruno Major. What he does is he writes really very well written songs that have kind of like a jazz chord progression element to it. So he does the kind of the 3-6-2-5-1 thing, but he does it in a really tasteful way that's not jazz, but it's also not straight pop either. I think the Spotify genre for that is called alt R&B.
Okay, interesting.
So and it's using like electronic beats in the background, and kind of has this almost lo-fi element to it, with some tasteful keys and like twinkling roads. And another artist that does that is Mac Ayres. So I like the sound of Bruno Major, Mac Ayres, Kimbra. I really like Emily King, who does that sort of kind of jazz influenced thing, but it's slightly more polished. The production is a little bit cleaner. Leanne LaHarvis. I'm just super inspired by singer-songwriters, especially women, because I feel like I can relate to them. Yeah.
Cool. Vocal sound, are you into... do you like the super layered, the crazy with lots of different stuff for that full thing? Yeah, I like
totally.
That too. Yeah. And interesting harmonies and...
Yes, like kind of clustered harmonies with like major second intervals rather than... Yeah.
And weird like counter melodies and weird backing vocals that are kind of...
Yes.
Man, like we were in the sauna the other night.
Oh, yeah?
I was in the sauna with Royce and...
Where all good ideas happen.
Oh, man, the sauna's so good. I might get around there today and insulate some of it with Royce, but we built a sauna. Just saying. We're pretty proud. Undy 500. We were in there and Royce put on Seal, that Kiss from a Rose song. And it's like one of those songs that it's kind of cheesy and poppy, but there's like still now there's pieces that I'm picking out in the production and the arrangement of the vocals that, there's like all these syncopated counter melodies and backing vocals that all just are so masterfully blended in. It just blows my mind. We're sitting there listening to it, and there's a new part that I've heard that song hundreds of times. There's this new part in it just at the start of the chorus, and it's like, oh. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really inspired by pop music that's just taken. They go fully crazy on the arrangement side of it, and it doesn't sound pushed. It doesn't sound over the top, but it is. But they somehow bring it together, and it's like, it's just they nail it.
Just to sound effortless.
Yeah.
Totally.
So cool.
And that song specifically has some wonderful choral. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
What did you call the sauna? Just forgive me if I'm wrong. Did you call it the Undy 500 or something?
Oh yeah, Undy 500. Yeah, it means under $500.
Oh, okay. I just had this image of everyone sitting around in their underwear.
Oh, that too. But
multiple meanings to the name.
No, the Undy 500 was this derby that would go, I think, from Christchurch to Dunedin or something.
Right.
Some years back, and you had to buy a car for under $500 and drive it.
Wow.
It was like a race down to Dunedin or something. And it got bigger and bigger each year, and then obviously they made it illegal and shut it down. But
wow.
Yeah.
They would have to. Wow. Imagine all the tomfoolery that would go along with it. What's the name of the movie with the little yellow mini?
Oh, Goodbye Pork Pie?
Yeah, I imagine it might turn out something like that.
If anyone wants to check out a classic Kiwi cult film, check out a film called Goodbye Pork Pie. It's brilliant.
Oh yeah, I watched that recently. It's so old.
Yeah.
Like the dialogue is so like old school, and like the production and stuff. It's
it's crazy. Well, I think we've covered a bunch of stuff. So those are the two newish songs that you've got. Yeah,
I'm always writing, but not overly happy with everything that I write. So those are the top two newer things.
Yeah, that's cool. And you might be leaving in May, maybe a bit later.
Definitely a bit later, because I don't find out until May whether or not I've been accepted into the green card lottery.
Exclusive America Club.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I will have you around a bit longer then.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, why don't you plug all your normal thingy-majiggies? Where can people find you?
Okay.
Emily?
I'm most active on Instagram, like a millennial. It is at emily.c.browning. You will find me there. Lots of tiny little snippets of little covers and originals and all sorts. On Facebook, it's the same, facebook.com/emily.c.browning. I have a website now.
You have a website now?
I made a Squarespace website by myself. I was so proud.
Oh, nice.
And I even did the thing where you flick the domain name, so it's just got a really clean. It's www.emilycb.com.
EmilyCB. Cool.
Yep.
.com as well.
.com.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm really proud of that. So actually, my website is a great place because it has all the social links.
Has everything
embedded
into the site.
Oh yeah.
Very good.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, go check that out. And
Look
sweet.
at my website because I'm really proud of it.
Emily's so proud. Everybody go check it out. All right, cool. Well, nice.
Nice. Thanks
Nice
for
to have
having
you
me,
on.
Ryan.
That's all right.
Good
to have you.
coffee, good chats,
Good coffee, good chats, good music,
good saunas,
good saunas.
Andy 500.
Andy 500. All right.
Great.
Sweet.